Man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 1090 Jake, man. I'm rocking with Charlie. Y'all rocking with me. And for this video, we're going to be speaking on an inmate that was held hostage inside of his cell and tortured to death for over 3 hours. The difference between manslaughter, first and second degree murder, comes down to intent. Did you intend on killing that person? Did you plan what happened? Or did it just happen? But torture is to punish, to inflict severe pain and brutal suffering. This is a story of a man who planned and intended on doing just that. Michael Woodbury warned prison staff about releasing him. He told them he was dangerous. He explained he shouldn't be allowed back in society, asking his mental health specialist for medication. Her recommendation? He needed to take vitamins. Michael was released from prison in Maine after a 5-year sentence. 2 months later, he'd be facing life for a triple murder in New Hampshire where he shot 3 dead inside of a store. His victims, a manager and 2 customers. He admitted to the killings, saying he needed the money and the 2 customers had tried to intervene by tackling him, so they died. He blamed the prison for letting him out after his warning. Michael found himself within the Florida Department of Corrections 3 life sentences later, transferred under the Interstate Compact where Florida accepts inmates from out of state. He'd soon make his name ring within the system. September 22nd, 2017, Okeechobee Correctional Institution. Michael had waited for this exact day, on this exact shift, as the female officer working the dorm was a dumbass. He tied on his work boots inside of his cell, telling his cellmate he's going to give him a fighting chance. He then stuffed paper on the track mechanism inside of the cell door to jam it and barricade himself from officers on the other side as he told his cellie, "You better fight for your life. I'm coming to kill you." It would be over 3 fucking hours before correction staff would get the cell door open. Guards at the door, Michael was smashing a lock tied to a sock off the back of his cellie's head, who was face down on his bunk, blood splattering throughout the cell as the guards could do nothing but watch and record him with a handheld camera. Michael was screaming at his cellmate, "I know it hurts. It's called torture. Welcome to the house of pain. It actually exists. It's on the 9th level of hell. I used to run it." Blood covering the walls, bunk, floor, and body of his cellmate as he decimated his skull with a lock. He had a razor, repeatedly slicing the man on his bunk who lay defenseless as he was cut 21 times to his face and skull. He'd suffer a dislocated jaw, blood-red hemorrhaging eyes, slashes and abrasions to every other part of his body. But the worst being when he grabbed his cellmate's hand as the officers watched, bending his fingers back until the tip touched the top of the man's hand, snapping and breaking them. He'd held his cellmate hostage, torturing him until the prison extraction team came, finally giving up. When asked how long it took to torture his cellmate, he laughed at staff, telling them, "Well, I was getting tired. I broke the padlock on him. I started off with soft flesh to give him pain. I was so happy to kill someone again." Michael had killed his cellmate using 2 weapons, his hands, elbows, and boots. He said his cellmate appeared confused at the randomness of it all, not even getting off his bunk to defend himself. And when he was asked if he enjoyed what he did, Michael said, "Of course I enjoyed it," stating if the victim came back to life, he'd kill him again. Michael Woodbury was sentenced to death and now remains housed at Union Correctional for his 4th murder. His victim, Antonise Haynes, was serving 5 life sentences for robbery, burglary, 2 kidnapping charges, and a 2nd-degree murder after he'd hogtied and shot a man in a 1990 robbery, then ordering the homeowner's housekeeper to strip and help him open a safe. Now, after researching this video, it was wild because of the graphic nature of the video. The whole lock and the sock getting beat to death, we've heard it before. But to hear that the man's fingers were bent all the way back until they snapped as the COs watched behind the door recording him with the camera, you can just tell that this man didn't give a fuck about anything. What's crazier is the victim, Anthony's Haynes. If I'm not mistaken, this is the same man I was at Appalachia Correctional Institution with inside of I-4. We were inside of the same dorm, inside of the same quad. This guy was, I don't know, maybe 5'1", 5'2", skinny as hell. He was an old man. He seemed kind of bugged out. He didn't seem really that normal. He didn't talk much. He had a soft voice. If he did talk, you could barely hear him. He looked like a little mouse, a sunken in face. And he would always just drink coffee with a little shaky ass hand. And it wasn't even his coffee. He'd have to ask people, hey, can I get a cup? He was one of those types of guys. Nobody sent him money. Nobody really talked to him. He was there, but he was more like a background person, like an extra on a movie scene. He was there, but you never really noticed the man. And I knew he was from Broward County because someone else from Broward County inside of the dorm slapped the shit out of him over a little misunderstanding. And he just slapped the shit out of him at the table in the day room in front of everyone. The man's coffee went everywhere. He just looked dazed and confused. Like I said, he was old. The guy that slapped him was somewhat old too. I never would have imagined the crime that sent this man to prison. Knowing in his early 20s that he hogtied somebody, made a female strip, shot the man, killed him. And he'd been in prison since the 90s. He was already arrested 4 years before I was even born. And we were inside of the same quad together. And to hear how violently he died. Obviously, the guy that killed him, Michael Woodbury, he wasn't trying to kill a killer. He wasn't trying to kill a gangster. He found a victim, a small little black dude, and he took full advantage. And there's a lot of people on death row that have done similar things. They don't go to death row for killing gangsters. They kill somebody that's weak. They kill someone they can take advantage of. And they get off the general population and just go sit in death row, which is pretty much a comfortable solitary confinement. And Florida isn't like Texas. Texas, you know how when you go to an amusement park, you got the regular line and then you get the easy pass and you jump to the front of the line in 2 seconds? That's Texas death row. They get shit done like this here. Florida, you're gonna sit on death row for the next 20, 30 fucking years, and you're probably gonna die from natural causes before you even actually get executed. So it seems that for a lot of these dudes that just don't give a fuck, death row is an easy way out. And I felt sympathetic at first for the way he died, seeing how soft and harmless he was as an inmate. But once you hear what he did, it changes your perception. Maybe he changed since then. I don't know. All I know is it doesn't fucking matter at this point because he's gone and Michael's on death row. But this is the sad reality of the Florida Department of Corrections. And for everyone that tells you you can be respectful, you can be calm, you can be cool, not get into any drama, that doesn't always mean it's gonna save you from being killed inside a prison. But hey, it's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all rocking with me. Till next time.